What is going on, YouTube family? It is the Washingtons here, you guys, with another video. We are here with the Johnsons on our second episode of the marriage series. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the ebook has come out. The truth about the marriage you've dreamed of. You guys go ahead and pick that up. But let's go ahead and jump into it. This is Katie. This is Sam. We're so glad to have you guys here. You guys go ahead and tell us how long you guys have been married. Sorry. We're good.
So we have been married for just shy of 8 years. August 22nd, our anniversary's,
That's our daughter's birthday.
That's our daughter's birthday. August 20th.
That's accurate, yeah.
It's complicated because the dates are so close.
That's okay. That's life.
It's
I
normal.
love it.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Tell us, you guys.
Okay,
story.
you have to say this because there's like prayers and the Lord's answering your prayers.
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of a cool story. So, my mom got remarried year after eighth grade. I moved up here to Wisconsin. My stepdad went to the church that he grew up going to. So technically we met when he was in 8th grade and I was a freshman, but we don't really remember each other. First time I remember him was when I had a crush on him, and I wrote in my diary, it's like, Sam Johnson, he plays guitar, he's so cute.
Hey.
Yep. Except he was dating someone else, and I was just so mad at her because he was dating her. Whatever, it was fine. But you know, that like sophomore year anger of when your crush has a girlfriend and it's not you. So anyways, fast forward to my senior year in high school. I applied to study abroad to Argentina, and I decided that, you know, there were several people that I wanted to get to know, maybe like a list of 5 people before I studied abroad, because I figured everyone's going to be graduated when I come back home and off. And Sam was someone that my friend group had always invited to places to do things, but he's an introvert.
Is that because Katie wanted you there?
Well,
Is that why they were like...
she was more popular than I was, and I was just like...
That's perception is your reality.
Yeah.
Yes. So everyone wanted Sam around, but he would just always be like, no, I'm good, busy, and wouldn't come to stuff. Anyways, so I'm persistent, still wanted to like hang out with him and be like, who are you? And so, but I was really nervous about like asking him to get coffee or something, because I didn't want him to think I was interested in him, because at that point I wasn't. I was just wanting to get to know him as a friend and be like, what are you going to do with your life? And so I was kind of thinking about just not doing it, but then I felt that convicted feeling where I was like, yeah, you really should do it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, God, you know when you do that thing where you say, God, if you really want me to do this, and then you put some like impossible thing on God that could never happen, like have a cherry fall down from heaven and land in my mouth, or like something really crazy. So I decided that Sam and I don't really even know each other, so an impossible thing that I put on God is, if you really want me to ask him to get coffee, then put us in a room alone together, and that's when I'll know that I need to do that.
Oh my.
And God's like, I got you. So we were both staying after church one night with a group of several other teenagers, helping to put stuff away after youth group. And I was carrying this pillow back into this back office. And I walked into the office, and there was Sam, and I was like, ah! And I threw the pillow and I ran away.
I don't remember that.
I remember.
He wasn't paying attention.
No.
Just like...
But then I got in the car and I was like sweating profusely. And I was like, oh my gosh, God, was that answer to the prayer, or was it not? You know, and God's like, you're an idiot. Yes. I was like, okay. So then I just, you know, I was trying to run, but God wouldn't let me do that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get his phone number, and now I have to call him. So I got his phone number from somebody, and I called him, and I was like, hi, it's Katie. He's like, Katie who? And I was like, Ma. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, super awkward. So anyways.
Oh, whatever your maiden name is.
Murphy, yeah. Murphy. We ended up getting coffee and talking for like 4 hours and really hit it off. Yeah. And did that again maybe a week later, and again a week later, and again a week later. And then he told me he doesn't like coffee. Can we do something else, which cracked me up. So
wait, were you getting coffee? Were you
No, hot chocolate.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm spending way too much money on hot chocolate right now.
Yeah. Right. And my friend was the barista at the coffee shop that we always went to, and she was always like creeping, like staring at us, hanging out. But anyways, so then I was about to leave to study abroad. He asked me to be his girlfriend, and I hadn't dated anyone through high school and wasn't really interested in dating anyone without real intention. And so I was going to be gone a year, and so I was like, okay. He goes, will you go out with me? And I was like, well, what's your plan?
Oh man.
And he's like,
Your
5 year
5 year.
plan.
right?
What's your 5-year plan? 10-year.
So he told me, we'll stay together. And I was like, all right, I'll date you. And that was it.
Yeah.
So that was in 2008.
Yeah.
And been
Wow.
together ever since.
So high school?
High school.
High school
Yeah,
sweethearts?
like he was a junior, I was a senior.
Oh, okay.
So then, I did that year abroad, so we had long distance for pretty much our first year, because I left about 2 months after we started dating,
Okay.
and did long distance for a year, so didn't see each other that whole time,
Yeah.
and then came home and got married a little while later, when we were 19 and 20.
Nice. Awesome. You want to ask next?
What? Yeah, I can ask that question.
This one's a good one.
What is the funniest / most awkward thing that's ever happened in your marriage?
I'm sure there's a lot you investigate.
Well,
Dang.
we didn't decide on one, we only talked about inappropriate ones we can't bring up on
Yes.
camera.
Of course, that's always what happens,
Yeah.
though, huh?
Oh man, we're just so smooth.
Yeah, we're really smooth, so it's hard to say. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or what I'm not allowed to say on this. The only funny, awkward thing that I can think of is that time when we were dating and your parents came home. But I don't know if I should tell that story.
Oh boy.
That was really awkward, though.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just cut this out. I'm going to tell you, and then you're going to tell me if I should come up with something else. So we always went to his house because my parents would sit in between us on the couch,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we, my stepdad was the one who would be they're courting or whatever, and we weren't really courting because my stepdad wasn't even really involved in our relationship. But when we were at his house, we were courting. He would sit in between us and come out in his robe before bed and be like, y'all, you need to go home, whatever. So it was okay. All right, cool. So we would just go to his house because he was an only child, and his parents were super cool and would let us sit on the couch together and that sort of stuff. Anyways, so this one time we were at his house. His parents went to go get blizzards or something from Dairy Queen, and we were in the living room kissing, and his parents came home. And I was like, hey. And he's like, no, it's okay. It's the cat. And I was like, that was not the cat. And he's like, it's the cat. So we continued. And then it wasn't the cat, and his parents waited in the kitchen with the lights off to not disturb us. And then when I realized that it was his parents, we just stopped. Sam, what did you do?
I just kind of got up.
And said, hey, Mom and Dad, and then they turned the lights on and walked in with their blizzards, and we continued on our way as if nothing happened.
That's
No.
actually very awkward.
It was so awkward, and we all pretended like nothing happened.
Never was brought up.
Oh,
again
no.
with them, or with them.
No.
Oh no.
Wow.
Is that acceptable
It's
for
like
the
one of
channel?
those,
I feel
it's like one of
awkward
those,
right now.
yeah, that's one of those, we'll just let that slide this time. Don't, not communicated, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our parents were very opposites on those
Oh,
ends, because
Yeah.
my mom would have come watching in with a torch and been like, "Watch," you know?
Yeah.
No more of you.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm definitely keeping that in. Story told.
All right.
What quality does your significant other have that's important to you? Why?
Okay. I feel like Katie has a really unique gift in that she's able to like call things out of people and really just, she's really good with words and is just able to like instill confidence and encourage people. Like I see that in her business, some cosmetics and stuff like that. She's got a big group of women that she's leading, and like that's really cool to see her just empower other people. And like even in my own life, like when we first got married, I was just like too much go with the flow. I'm like, whatever you want, sure. Like I was like almost I didn't have an opinion, you know, and stuff. And like she just really challenged me to like think for yourself and like you can do it. Like this is a role that God has given you, so step into it. Because I'm not gonna do it. And so just like, just having that ability to like encourage people and instill that confidence in people.
Thanks. So sweet. I always say this, you've heard this before, but like the number one reason that I married Sam is his gentleness. Just that spirit of gentleness that he has, and it carries over not just with the people closest to him, which I think is really cool because I think that sometimes there can be a tendency for like hyper masculinity in our society, and so to not show men not showing that soft side, the kindness exemplified, literally manifested. He's a guy where if he goes somewhere with a lot of kids, the kids just flock to him because he's fun and he's gentle and he can be trusted. And that's on his outward character. It's not just the people closest to him realize that. So then you can imagine the people closest to him, how safe and secure and loved they feel in his presence. So for me, it would be his gentleness.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That's awesome. 5?
Yeah.
What is the biggest struggle, or was the biggest struggle in parenting?
Wow, you got quiet there. That's not you.
What? No, I had something in my throat.
Oh, okay.
Now you said But anyways, I know we kind of talked a little bit off camera, but you guys, what was the biggest struggle in parenting, for sure?
Like together or like each of our own struggles?
So I would say, as a married couple, what did you guys struggle with parenting? Like I know in the last interview, like they clashed on the spanking scenario. You know what I mean? On discipline and things like that. So what was it with you guys? Like what was that? What effect did those children have? What do you guys' marriage?
Do you have something that comes to mind?
I think it was maybe more with Elsa, our first. Kind of in the light of like not being opinionated again. Like you felt like you had to make a lot of the decisions off the bat, with like for example the diaper stuff. Like we did cloth diaper, and I pretty much like took the backseat on that, and just that lack of initiative I think was kind of straining on us. Would you agree? And I struggled with the newborn stage like hard, and I was almost like not entirely present, and I was kind of like wallowing in my own sufferings when there was this new life to take care of, and I had to be a father, I also had to be a husband, and it was just like too overwhelming for me. And I think, I mean, from my perspective, that was really hard for both of us as new parents.
Yeah, I definitely see like the two kind of values in our marriage in regards to parenting being, interestingly enough, when both of our children were born, and I don't really want that to be like misconstrued. Obviously our children are a gift from God, but just the way that we struggled emotionally, him in specific with Elsa is a young baby, and then myself with Theo, I had really bad postpartum, so in a way it wasn't necessarily it wasn't clashing so much on decisions. That was difficult, with lack of initiative or whatever, but for myself I definitely see it being more difficult, just dealing with all the deep, deep grief and sadness of depression and trying to navigate even being a human being, let alone being a wife or a mother or
Tons of adjustments.
all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that was super challenging, and I know, you know, he held the weight of our family and the world on his shoulders during the time when I was like in the depths of that. So
So you just say the early stages of parenting as a whole was just straining on your relationship, just because individual struggles.
one of us was
Yeah.
low, like, but you know,
Yeah.
he was low during Alice and I was low during Theo,
Yeah.
and so it was like, unfortunately, we both had to experience that. But I think that when I experienced it, you know, when I first had Elsa and he was struggling, I was kind of the one who like bore it, and then it flipped and it was him. But I feel like because we both experienced that, it also taught us empathy for the other individual, and like, okay, I know one thing I always said when he was on his path to healing and recovering from that, you know, grief and difficult time, I always said the one thing I'm grateful for in you is he wasn't ever sitting in his mess. He was always like, I recognize this is a problem and I want to be better, and then doing things to be better. It wasn't just woe is me. It was always like, how can I be better, and taking those steps forward to do that. So I always really appreciated that. I don't know if I can really say the same about myself. I got pretty woe is me sometimes, but I do feel like the fact that we both experienced that to a certain extent helped us to, then when it was our turn to bear it, we were like, okay, I know where they're at, and I'm going to love them through it no matter how long it takes. So
one piece
Wrapping
of
it up.
yeah, we'll wrap it up. One piece of advice that you could give our viewers about marriage,
You can give to the
relationships,
viewers
singleness,
anything.
anything about life,
No, relationship.
relationship.
we don't have anything on singleness. We've been together since 16.
Yeah, it's
17,
okay. It's
so
okay. Well, I mean,
our
there
friends-
might be people that are engaged. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
anything that you can give them as far as advice going into marriage. Anything.
Sure.
One of my favorite pieces of marital advice is viewing marriage as like a ministry
Yes.
and like a service, like acts of service, like Christ gave himself up for the church, and he set the stage, he set the, you know, the level for men as husbands to strive for, you know, and just like choosing to love my wife in the way that she receives loves the best and the most, and like putting her needs and my family's needs before my own. I mean, it's a ridiculously hard thing to do, but that's why we need God's grace every day. And just keeping that mental focus of like, okay, this is my first ministry, like love God first, then my wife, my family. Like those are my priorities. When we get those straight, man, life works a lot better when those things are in proper order. So just that's something I just really cling to, is just like, man, I gotta focus on this first.
Anything on your side, Katie?
I think that suffices.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't, check all the social media in the link in the description box.
Links in the description box. No, I always wanted to say.
That's all she wanted to say.
That's all I wanted to say.
Subscribe.
So, smash that like.
And on that note, we'll close out. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.